It is going to make the early weeks of the season even more interesting than they ordinarily would have been. And here's the thing. Last year, even though we had an offseason program and a preseason, there were still some significant injuries early in the season. And one guy who was injured in preseason playing in New England as the starting quarterback of the Panthers, and that injury continued to get worse until he was shut down for the full season after a Thursday night debacle against Tom Brady's Buccaneers. Cam Newton, now the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots. It was reported yesterday afternoon he'd be the starter. The team didn't announce he'd be the starter. What the team announced is he's one of the captains. There's no way he's one of the captains if he isn't the starter. You don't make a guy who may be benched or a guy who's got a tenuous grip on the starting job or a guy who isn't number one on the depth chart a team captain. Look, this Cam Newton experiment, Shireen, has gone exactly the way that the Patriots had hoped, the way that the rest of the AFC East and the rest of the conference had feared, and the way that I think we all agreed, if Cam Newton is healthy, it could go. The real question with Cam Newton, is he healthy? And I think that there were so many teams out there that their quarterback position is set, but their starting quarterback, when healthy, isn't nearly as good as Cam Newton when healthy. And I think that's one of the reasons why there wasn't the interest. Is he healthy? Do we want to go down this path of upsetting our quarterback apple cart? And it all came down to the Patriots, late June, out of nowhere. In they come. They signed Cam Newton, and so far so good. Now, it may all change when the games are played, but I think at this point, everything we've seen, everything he's done, everything that's been said, the superlatives that have been foisted upon him by Coach Bill Belichick, it's been a rousing success so far.
Yeah, Mike, this is a Super Bowl MVP, a league MVP who started a Super Bowl. This is a very accomplished quarterback that they got for next to nothing. It's an incentive-laden deal with a maximum of $7.5 million if he does everything he expects. And look, the Patriots will gladly pay that if he wins league MVP and they go to the Super Bowl and all of that. I mean, it's truly been a great year for the Patriots, and they've made a seamless transition. But yeah, he was always expected to win this job. That's why they signed him. I mean, Jarrett Stidham, for all their talk in the offseason, we're going to be okay with Jarrett Stidham. We're going to be okay with Jarrett Stidham. I mean, this guy's made 4 passes in his career. You don't know what you have in Jarrett Stidham. And the fact that Jarrett Stidham went to the hospital, I think Cam really sees that time. Up until that point, they were splitting snaps, the 3 of the quarterbacks, Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham, and Cam Newton. And then Jarrett Stidham went to the hospital for that leg injury that appeared to be okay once he went to the hospital, have it checked out. But Cam sees that time and sees the starting quarterback job just as we all thought he would. And he is the most accomplished of those 3 guys, and he's going to start off as the guy. Can he stay healthy? That's the big question.
Yeah, and I think part of the goal all along was to prod Cam Newton, not to just be better than Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer, but to be Cam Newton, to be incredibly great, to be the guy that he was in 2015 when he won the league MVP award. And, it's a long time ago, and it's been a long time since we've seen healthy Cam Newton, and I think that's the counterbalance to how well everything has gone. On paper, on film, not that we have any that we have access to, but the Patriots looking at everything he's done, feeling good about it. When it's time to go out there and play, when it's time to go out there and potentially get hit, what are the Patriots doing by way of constructing an offense that maybe doesn't put him in harm's way, that doesn't yield to the temptation to have him jump over the top of the pile at the 1-yard line, take advantage of that incredible physical stature, and remember that this is a guy whose 2018 season was ultimately destroyed by an injured shoulder. 2019, the foot got him early, and the foot ended up taking him down in week 2. It's been a long time since we've seen Cam Newton firing on all cylinders, and the Patriots need to have a plan, Shireen, in order to ensure that he'll be healthy, whether it's teaching him how to avoid contact when he's in the passing game, how to avoid contact when he's running the football. Maybe he's not going to have a lot of designed runs, but I think Bill, and look, we got to give Bill Belichick the benefit of the doubt here. He's smart enough to understand it. If we understand it, he clearly understands it at a much higher level than we do. You've got to keep this guy healthy, or it is going to be Jarrett Stidham or Brian Hoyer playing quarterback this year.
Yeah, that's the key for Cam Newton. We've known that the last 2 years he hasn't been healthy, and the Panthers weren't very good, which is why they moved on from him this season and sought a different quarterback and a different way to go. And it seems like every year in Cam Newton's career, we're talking about, all right, he's got to get down, he's got to slide, he's got to protect himself, and hopefully over the last 2 years, being injured first with the shoulder and then with the foot, that he's learned that he's an older, more mature quarterback. I hope we all learn those things, Mike, as we mature and get older and learn to be better and wiser at things. And it's time for Cam Newton to do that, to get out of harm's way and get rid of the football. But Tom Brady was very good in that offense of getting rid of the football, and Cam Newton's got to be the same thing because they need him on the field. I don't think they're the same team with Jarrett Stidham, with Brian Hoyer, a journeyman. I think they have to have Cam Newton if they want to continue to be the team that they've been, which is a dominant team in the AFC East and a dominant team in the AFC, a contender every single year. And I think Bill Belichick thinks he can be that team. He can be a contender in the AFC.
One thing I was told several weeks ago when Josh McDaniels was the head coach in Denver, and remember he drafted Tim Tebow in 2010, he had begun constructing an offense for Tim Tebow. And even though McDaniels wasn't there, by the time Tebow became the starter and the following year somehow led the Broncos to the Final Eight, an offense was put together that is conducive to a mobile quarterback, that keeps him out of harm's way with the designed runs. Now, look, the blocking is going to be a key part of it, but the way McDaniels put it together a decade ago, the thinking is if they can learn it and execute it properly, that's one of the things that will help keep Cam Newton healthy. But that's the key. And, we're going to get caught up in how great Cam looks, and he's going to be healthy until he isn't, but that's going to be the key. Can he keep what has been happening going by staying out of harm's way, by staying healthy, and who knows, maybe earning every penny of that $7.5 million. And if he earns every penny of that $7.5 million, it will be the greatest deal that any team has ever done, because it will mean, as a practical matter, he's been the regular season MVP and the Super Bowl MVP. That's his path as a practical matter to $7.5 million. And then they have the proverbial good problem to have next year when they try to figure out how to pay him for 2021, because he's going to want to be paid for what he did in 2020 if all those things happen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.